Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm
Good
JCB
evening,
and welcome to the first of
E3
many
on a
podcasts.
budget.
What are you saying?
That didn't work. Could have gone
So-
worse.
Or did it work?
No, it did not. So, E3 is
Pretty
done
sure it
and
is.
dusted. It was last week. And, I've got to say, I hype more E3 more than Christmas. And I'm genuinely sad to see it go. Ben's shaking his head.
It's sad to see that you
I
like
don't
to
because
roll.
Christmas
Oh.
is the time that E3 releases come out, so
I
you know.
love
Christmas, get
Christmas,
gift
but I also
that you
love
want
E3.
opportunity.
And I love E3 so much. Well, yeah, but E3, it's when you get to, it's all the excitement of seeing the games confirmed. You know, you can get the game, you're like, oh, I got the game, but when the game's first confirmed, that's what's awesome. But anyway.
Can I just say, this is going to be a fucking long podcast if we're
Oh,
spending
yeah.
10 minutes talking about whether E3
Yeah.
is better than Christmas.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. That's,
Well, I think
that's
it's fine it's not, but
That's,
okay.
that's a quarter of the podcast. I have no plans. For
But the
this.
real question is, does Christmas exist?
Anyway, so
That's
We're
what
It
it
is
is.
Christmas.
we're gonna
That's
hopefully
another-
start doing this weekly if we have the time.
Is Santa real? Another question.
Don't go into that. And what we plan to be doing is we'll do a conference for each podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the E3 conference, not the E3, the EA conference at E3.
The
And
E3 conference.
The E3 conference of E3.
Strong.
Yeah, starting
Just the
strong.
whole
And
thing.
our lineup for today is action music, ba-da-bum,
Pop, 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 pop.
Titanfall 2,
I do like to be beside the seaside. I do like to be beside the sea.
Mass Effect Andromeda,
Andromeda.
Andromeda,
Oh, good stuff.
Whoops.
Told you so.
Andromeda.
Madden 17, FIFA 17. We're going to talk about a little bit of the EA origins. We'll go into detail later on. We've got Star Wars and, of course, the game that everyone's excited for, Battlefield 1.
I wonder who's excited for Star Wars.
So we're going to start off with Titanfall. And, like, I was a massive fan of Titanfall 1. I thought it was a very good game, even though the kind of hype kind of died off after a month or 2 months. Very, very interested. I know Ben played quite a lot of Titanfall, didn't you?
I did. I played a lot of it. Considering you borrowed the game off me, which is
Yeah.
why I perhaps didn't get as much time on it as I would have liked. But it was a very good game. It was absolutely amazing.
A lot of
I played
people
it
said once. And did you enjoy your one-time experience?
Not really, I kept dying, and the only kills I got were those robots that just run around.
That's because you
Not-
sucked.
Not the big ones, I mean
An
just those like little
absolute
droids.
Bad.
Well, I thought it was a very good game. A lot of people thought that, yeah, it was very repetitive, and the fact that the single player wasn't there was a big factor in that. But I'm sure we all know that single player is confirmed for Titanfall 2, right? Like, you've seen the trailer for
We all know
the
that.
Titanfall 2, the trailer
Because
for the
EA
single
have
player.
finally realised that you have to have friends to play online.
Exactly, yeah.
The one.
if
And you
don't,
kind of
have
make
to
friends by
pretend you
going outside, which gamers just don't do.
So we all need a single player just in
What
case.
is the outside?
Exactly.
I went outside once, the graphics were amazing, but the story was bad.
My curtains are closed for a reason.
Exactly. And
Why not? For lighting purposes.
Ben, you had to change your pants multiple times before we started this podcast because
Yeah.
Oh, he's just incontinent, that's the only reason.
yeah, no,
Yeah, it was one of the only things I actually watched live at E3, and it was like,
Oh.
goosebumps. It was amazing.
it looks awesome. Oh. And even for people who didn't like Titanfall 1, I think this game's going to really bring Titanfall back into the marketplace, I reckon, because it's got the single player.
The single player is what's
Yeah.
going to attract loads of people, because, I mean, multiplayer is all well and good, but I don't really want to sit there playing a game listening how 5-year-olds slept with my mum.
And it was an Xbox One exclusive back in Titanfall 1
Exactly,
days,
yeah.
and
Which
that's
is
all you
better.
hear on Xbox.
Souls now.
The only people you meet on
Like-
Xbox are 5-year-olds telling them, "Hey, fuck your mum." So, but yeah, it is
Exactly.
also coming out on PS4 and PC now as well. So it is cross-gen, which is good for me because I don't have an Xbox yet. So PS4 is going to be nice, and of course it's got the multiplayer. The multiplayer looks pretty cool. It's got from what I've heard from the conference, 6 new Titans, all with different abilities and customizations and weapons. Not sure exactly what they'll be yet, but I assume we'll find out later to the date. And new customizations for guns, for characters. So I think they're probably going to go for more of a maybe Advanced Warfare style, I think, where you can customize your character and then customize your gun. I know there's a lot more variety in the guns this time, and a lot more variety in the attachments you can get. Not sure about skins, but I think that's another thing that Titanfall 1 lacked as well.
Yeah, it's kind of just got a bit repetitive from what even when I played it. It was literally just the same guns, barely any attachments. You couldn't really make a loadout that wasn't already being used by thousands of different people, which I quite like to personalize things myself just to make sure that it's tailored to my gameplay and the way I play. But I mean, like, you couldn't really do that with it because obviously there was only a certain number of guns and attachments and titans and everything.
Yeah, I mean, in the first one there was 3 different titans you could choose from. One of them I ever played as. I'd never played as the other 2. There were 2 rifles, a few pistols, and 1 sniper, if I remember.
There was a shotgun.
Yeah.
There was a shotgun. There was one shotgun.
The problem is, I think they released an unfinished game there. Like, that would have been a good alpha.
Yeah.
But they released
the common EA way.
It seems like a pre-Titanfall. It feels like Titanfall 2 is the actual game, and Titanfall 1 is just the pre-planning. Which is
I mean, Titanfall 1 was the first Titanfall to come on next gen, so you could say it was a test, you know, as to what they could do on next gen, and now they know what they can do on next gen. And let's face it, Titanfall was the first game to bring out good movement, as in boosting around a map, things like that.
Killed it.
Yeah, they were the first game to actually use that, and the first game and the only game I think to date that really nails it. Like, you got Black Ops 3, which I think uses it quite shitely. Shitely a word, yeah, it is now. Advanced Warfare, I mean, went a bit over the top, I think. I quite like the movement in Advanced Warfare, but a lot of people don't. And I think that's because they really went over the top. So Titanfall just nails it, and I reckon in the second one, they've got new mechanics in this one, they said. They haven't...
They got grappling hooks.
Yeah, oh my god! At the end of was it the single multiplayer trailer, wasn't it? And they jump out of a Titan, he grapples, and kicks him in the face. That looked awesome.
Yeah, I'm watching the multiplayer gameplay now, and like they've done exactly what they did in the first one, and which something that I praised it for infinitely was just the fluency of the movement, how you can go off one wall run and straight into another, and then go through a window, and then jump on another wall, and then run along some rooftops, and like you could honestly just run around the map for the entire game and keep it going, keep the fluency going, because it's just so smooth, and it's not like darting around the place with strafes like Advanced Warfare.
Is the smart pistol still?
I remember.
I hope the smart pistol isn't, because it's fucking trash.
I hope
No,
the
it's
smart
not.
pistol's not in the second
It's
one.
stupid. It's a lock-on pistol.
Yeah, it's a lock-on.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're on about.
Basically, Archie, instead
From
of
that one
having the
time I
basic
played.
skill to aim, the pistol
Yeah.
aims for you. You just have to literally aim at the screen.
Yeah,
and
but
it bloody works.
Amazing.
If it's a real player, then it takes longer to lock on.
No, because you
Ooh.
can set perks, so it doesn't take
Really?
long at all to lock on, and it
Yeah.
sucks.
It's a load
Yeah,
of
but then there are
shit.
still better players at the game than you. Like, you can still die.
Oh!
Yeah.
Like,
The
But,
beauty of it, but it's
like,
annoying.
Learn,
and so
learn,
I
learn,
thought it was
it's a
balanced,
shooter.
because-
Learn to bloody like aim and shoot.
it's like saying, "Oh, you suck
my
at shooters.
opinion.
Here, have a gun that does it all for you."
I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
but some
it's good
people
for
just
people
bought
who
it
suck
for
at
the
shooters.
movement.
Yeah. They might as well have played Mirror's Edge, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is I think that this game, when this game comes out, there's a lot of hype around it, and when it eventually does come out, if it stays on the marketplace and in the media eye line for more than a month, it should do really well for EA. And I really think that, because EA are kind of like, everyone doesn't really hype EA games, I don't think, a lot.
Because they
But
often
a lot
come
of
out
people-
unfinished.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people have said, like, this year Ubisoft and the Sony conferences were amazing, but no one's really mentioned EA. And I think if this game, along with a few other games that we're going to talk about, kicks off, I think EA is going to make quite a name for themselves.
If they're well made.
If they're well
But-
made, yeah.
The thing I have enjoyed watching about Titanfall 2 the most is the fact that they've kept it similar to the old one. They've kept it true to what it was. So I think it looks like they've kept like the Ogre Titan from the first one. It looks like they got that. They've got the same kind of health system on screen for when you're in the Titan. They've got the same design of maps, and it's just like I like it how they've. Although Titanfall 1 wasn't the most popular game, they've stuck to what they would. They've been true to what they did, and I can't wait for it because I wanted so much more out of Titanfall 1, and this looks like that's what it is.
I mean, that's something I can respect. You know, they have that vision, and they're going to stick with that vision, but they're going to improve it on what the fan base told them. And you can really see how everything the fan base has been saying, they've put this into a game. And if you want an example of a game company listening to its fans, it's Titanfall 2. Yep. And just one thing, so we have to move on because we've got like 6 other games and things to talk about. I also want to talk about, in the multiplayer especially, you can see the maps are a lot more open. They've gone for more of a forest environment, which I thought was quite an interesting take on it. Any opinions?
Yes.
What is that opinion?
Well, no, I think because it was on the other maps, it was basically buildings with massive paths in the middle so the Titans could get around, but now it looks like they've got more open areas where you can have these badass Titan battles, which is kind of what a lot of people get the game for, because running around on foot with your gun is any other game, but walking around
Duty,
massive mechs, it's kind of a whole nother element, and I think having these massive arena type things is just going to enhance that so much more, and it's just going to make it that much more entertaining than any other first person shooter.
I think it's very clever the way they've actually opened it up, because as Ben says, then you can have more Titan on Titan battles, which is obviously, as the game's called Titanfall, so we obviously want to play the Titans, or if I Call of Duty. So I think that's really good, and also, even if you're not in a Titan and you're on foot, the way it's open gives it a bit less of an advantage, if you see what I mean, because then there's less places to hide.
Yeah. Which
then makes it require that bit more skill to stay alive for longer and fight, and it takes more skill.
Yeah, and that was a problem in the first one, where you'd be running around in a Titan, somebody would be in a building popping out with an anti-Titan gun, mash you up, and there's no way of you getting him, you know?
Exactly. There needs to be that advantage of you being in a Titan, rather than if you're on foot, like, they've still got it where you can mount onto the Titan and like throw a nade in and it do a bit of damage, but in the first one I thought it was a bit like you could take out a Titan easily, even easier if you're on foot, because you're a lot of smaller targets to hit, but I hope they balance it out a bit more.
Yeah, and it's just the power of being in a Titan, isn't it? And with the melee combat as well, a Titan can now have a fucking sword on it. That's just going to make it so much better, and that's probably going to play in with the new maps as well, with them more open. You have to charge each other, smack each other in the face. It's going to be awesome, but we're going to have to move on to yet another game I'm interested in. The game of, personally, the list of our games today gets less and less exciting for me as we go down. Well, until we get to like Star Wars and Battlefield, then it's going up again. But it's gonna slowly get down. But oh my god, Mass Effect! And
I'm excited.
Andromeda,
that does look really good.
Andromeda.
You know, the galaxy that's just outside the Milky Way, that one.
Oh, is that actually a thing?
Andromeda's
Oh! I thought they just made
you never heard of the Andromeda Galaxy?
No,
these games.
Never. I researched the games, I didn't research the science behind them.
Well, you should know the science, we just did our P2 exam.
Yeah, and I failed. So,
Yay!
So, it's... Okay, it's quite interesting, actually, but I never actually played any other Mass Effect games, because I'm an absolute prick.
I played a bit of Mass Effect 3, and that was very good.
It was very good. I've heard nothing but good things about Mass Effect. I can see Matt's here. Ready.
Yeah, Mass Effect 3 wasn't as good as Mass Effect 1. You need to play the other two. Like, you can't actually get a feel for the story unless you played the first two. But I'm interested to see if they do bring in, like, old history from the other games. Like, I don't know if they're going to bring in characters from the older games to, like, give you a bit of that nostalgia of the older games. But from what I've seen, the main character is now a femshep instead of just manship. So I'm kind of excited about that because it's a new angle because they built the first 2 games around this male shepherd, and then the third one they just implemented it more, giving her more story, more things to do. And I just want to see how they build on that with Andromeda.
I think what would be really good is if they make a completely new story with the game, but then they have references back to the old games, like a couple of Easter eggs here and there, and then the occasional bit of dialogue that would refer to something previous, that would give the Mass Effect fans this sense of nostalgia that you're on about, and make them feel connected to the story even more, even though it's a completely different story.
Yes.
Why?
I mean, I took some notes from the conference, and from what they've said, they've basically, there's a whole new adventure, they say, so you can play this game without playing any of the other 3, and you'd still know what's going on. It'll be pretty cool, I think, if
it's good marketing.
Yeah. I do think it'll be pretty cool if they do bring in other characters from other games. Say like Matt, you'll like just spunk yourself, but you'll be like, oh, nostalgia. But they've specifically said, and I quote, "It builds on the game you love, with great story and great gameplay, but we're giving you new freedom." And apparently more freedom than we've ever had in a Mass Effect game. I wouldn't know because I've never played a Mass Effect game, but Matt, how much freedom did you have in the first 3?
I mean, I recently played, well, sort of recently, played through Mass Effect 1 and 2 again. In Mass Effect 2, there was actually quite a bit of freedom because you could fly around the galaxy and go onto all these different planets that are in each of these different systems, which I quite liked about that. There was a lot of freedom there, so I want to see how they build on that, if there's going to be a bigger galaxy or they're just going to have more things to do on every single one of the planets. I'd be interested to have a look at that. But I thought there was more than enough exploration in the other Mass Effect games. Like, I've almost blanked out my Mass Effect 3 gameplay because I didn't like it as much as the others, mainly just because of the gameplay and biotics and stuff, which I'm interested to see in the new game. I want to see how they do the fighting system. I want to see the biotics and whatever. I'm really hyped for it. It's going to be one of the first games I get next year.
Yeah, I mean, I might go play the other Mass Effect games, but do you guys know the storyline or the backstory of what the fuck's going on in the game?
Never played it.
Basically,
not in Andromeda, no.
Basically, you play as a character who has left Earth. Earth set in God knows when, in the future sometime. And you're basically in Andromeda. Looking for Andromeda. Thank you. Looking for a new planet for Earth civilization to settle on. So I assume the first 3 had like baseline story missions that you had to go to, things like that.
Yeah, there was a storyline to it. Like, you had to defeat the Reapers, you had to stop the Seth and the Geth from destroying the world and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it had a storyline. Yeah,
I don't know how they were going to do this. I don't know if they're just going to let us go completely free reign, choose a planet, hey everyone come here, or if it's going to be you're jumping across planets, trying to find the right place, you meet people while you're there, you kill some shit.
Yeah.
I
think what it's going to be, you're going to have to travel all the way through Andromeda. There is going to be a big threat. Like, I reckon you'll find the perfect planet, like Utopia. You're going to find that. But the downside is there's this massive ancient alien race that's going to destroy the planet because it's so perfect. I think that's what the storyline's going to be if they do one.
That'll be quite interesting. But, just watching the gameplay trailer, like, I'm loving how it seems to be this year, or last year we had a lot of open world games and we had really big variety at E3 last year from all companies, but this year a lot of people seem to be basing their games off of space, and I'm all for that personally. I
personally think that's a reflection of Tim Peake, the English astronaut that's just come down from space, because obviously that was such a big thing on the news, and from that people
Didn't even know that was a thing until yesterday.
Didn't know
Brilliant.
it was a thing until
I
now.
keep up to date.
Right, because obviously that was like a massive thing last year of him being one of the first Brits up in space. On the space station, everyone was thinking space is awesome, so they probably went and downloaded the current space games that there are. And then game companies and everything thought, actually, do you know what? This is what's selling at the moment. Let's develop on this. So that's probably where they've gone with all the space games.
Yeah.
I'm all down
Yeah,
for that. I love
I'm
you
all
say
for
that. You say that, but then you look at our list of games to talk about, and the three next aren't to do with space, and then there is one, and then the other one just no. You've
Yeah,
gone
but
in the
they-
opposite direction.
I mean, you've
carried
got
series.
two in one. Yeah, I mean, you've got two in one company here. I mean, we've got No Man's Sky coming out in August. We've got to talk about that in another podcast. We've got, what's its name?
Brilliant.
Star Citizen coming out next year. Is that next year it's coming out? Yeah, a lot of these samey kind of games. There's also one, Dual Universe, if I remember rightly. It's one that was announced at E3. We'll talk about that at some point. That's like Minecraft meets Star Citizen. It looks pretty cool. So there's a lot of these kind of games coming out. But I do fear that there's so many of them that it's going to be like survival games. I still love survival games, but a lot of people have gone off of them because there was just such an influx of them, a massive wave of them, that people kind of got bored of them really quickly, within a year. So an overdue of space games or space exploration might not do good, but I think Mass
No,
Effect...
because
Yeah.
I think if they keep making space games into next year, and they start developing new stuff like late this year, I think that can get very repetitive and a bit done. Because how much variety can there be in space games? Because it's literally going to be get a spaceship, fly here, kill some aliens, go here, kill some aliens, do this on this planet, do this on the other, fly around, make a spaceship. That's going to be the same in every game. Obviously, they can change the main story in that, but how much can you change it?
Yeah, exactly.
How much can you write about space when we don't know all that much about it?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you could go completely off it and just make this mad science fiction game, which could sell really well, but at the same time, it could just be people thinking, oh, this is the same as this game, this is the same as that game.
Yeah, I mean, that could be, in a way, good for the market, at least, because we don't know much about space. But it just leaves the developers and the writers to go all out. Well, you don't know. No one knows about space, so let's just go all out. Let's add, like, a rock alien in there that throws, like, lava and rock and things like that. They can go all out. But, again, as you say, that can get quite repetitive. And we've got a lot of games like Evolve, things like that, that are already evolving, puns, into games like that. We just lost half of our viewership.
You've
and
lost
Ben.
me as well.
And Ben. But I think Mass Effect is going to hold its own within all of these new, this new genre of game that's really taking its own at the moment. I think Mass Effect is really going to be one of the shining stars. Another pun in...
Oh, yeah.
You're literally losing, aren't you, Scott? Just losing people.
A shining gem star, whatever you want to call it, in the space exploration, adventure, action genre. Okay, we should move on before
Yep, definitely.
banned off of
Even I
YouTube
thought they
for
were
all of our
bad.
puns. So, a game that we're all really excited for, and we're all really knowledgeable about, Madden 17, everyone.
I didn't even know what that was until I watched the trailer.
Oh, Matt's gone now.
Football!
I have played minimal bits of Madden, but I would much rather play Madden than FIFA, which is our next topic, which is going to be fun.
Oh yeah.
But, Madden, I have taken in
Well,
as
I
many
kill
notes
myself
as possible. Yeah, because I don't know much about it, obviously, so I don't know what they're going to change or whatever. But hey, these are the notes I got. Apparently, the gameplay is now balanced, or the most balanced gameplay they've ever had. Whoa!
Whoa!
Okay, unbalanced.
There are actually, this is pretty cool, I think. There's new competition modes for everyone. So you know how EA is very involved in esports, and they said that in the conference they want to get everyone, because obviously so few people become professional game players or professional players. In the fact of in the fact
James
of
is full-time.
full retard. Yeah, so many people, so few people become professional people within the esports area that a lot of people kind of only wish to become that good, if you know what I mean. But EA are on it. Do not worry, everyone, because they have done something so everyone feels special. Yay! They've added 3 new competition modes that they'll be hosting, things like that. There's Challenger, there's Premier, and then there's EA Major. I don't really remember much of what they said about it.
I'm so excited for all of these. I can't wait for EA Major.
Yeah, I did
That
see
just sounds amazing.
each one of them entails different things. I'm not exactly sure what they do, but I thought it was quite a cool idea how EA are trying to involve everyone, you know, and not just being like, hey, these guys are good, you're shit. These guys are getting paid a lot of money for it, you're paying us a load of money to play it, so just deal with it, you know. I quite like the fact that they're trying to get people involved.
Yeah,
but
then again,
if everyone's a professional player, then nobody's gonna get anywhere in like nobody can be a professional gamer if everybody can be a professional gamer. If you get me, like,
you know what I mean?
There's no
how do you balance people out from being good at that? Oh, Archie.
Oh, we lost Archie.
He's done.
He doesn't talk about Madden. We've lost him. We're a man down.
Let's wait for him.
He's gone.
Quickly edit a picture of Archie in.
Yeah. So can someone call him back in?
Yeah, I'm adding them.
I did wonder if he would leave because there was just a picture of him looking at the screen like...
Stop in the puns. Why? There's that. Oh look, another 10 viewers out the window.
Another 2 because the amount of viewers I have on this is like 12.
Oh no, all 10 have left by now.
Send him a message, ask him to come back. So
he's gone offline.
We're a man down. Oh god. Okay, so we're a man down.
He heard the name Madden and he's like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
As Matt was saying.
As I was saying, it's going to be difficult to balance out people being good at the game and people bad at the game who are going to be good at the game. Like, you can't really change someone's skill level by updating your software. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they're going to be able
Scuff Gaming and Astro. Any Call of Duty player would tell you that you can become a professional player if you buy a £1,000 controller with paddles on the back.
Oh,
and that's the secret, everyone.
£1,000 T-shirt. It will make you play better.
I mean, I don't have much more to say on Madden except for the fact that I will probably guess it because I don't think I've played enough Madden and I would like to play more of it.
Game of us lads just sat in a living room screaming at the TV because we're utterly atrocious at it. And being a fun play with your friends.
I mean, I know we're taking a mick, but I think EA have a good idea, and if they can pull it off, then it'll be good. You know, they've got a lot to prove this year with all their games, you know, and if they can pull it off, I think letting everyone feel like they're a pro for even like 10 minutes, you know, just having that little booster in confidence and the fact that they're achieving something, I think it's going to boost sales, and it's going to encourage people to play more of it, buy more like DLCs or microtransactions. However, Madden are going to be making most of their money. Is Archie back?
Archie's back. Archie is
back. Archie's back, but we can't hear him.
So yes, we can. Internet died.
That's all right. Well, yes, all right. You missed the Madden. We're about to move on, so it's all good.
No, FIFA.
Sadly, yeah, we're moving on to FIFA.
FIFA.
Just a little bit longer, could it?
You know, I'm just going to start off by saying I think FIFA is such a dull game and so boring that they could improve it by naming it FIFA with a TH because it's more fun to say. Even that would make it a better game because it's so
make it a better game
boring
by stopping making
dull. Like it's the exact same game every year for how many
every year, but they update the colour of the grass.
Yeah.
Although having said
the
that,
grass is now lighter.
I watched the trailer for it, and it honestly looks like they're trying something new, which, thank the Lord, is something that they should have done a long time ago. But honestly, I've seen the Journey trailer. I recommend watching it. It's actually quite
in Wayne Rooney in career mode.
You don't, because you play as this guy called Alex Hunter, as far as I'm aware. You're basically this guy who starts off from the bottom, works his way to the top, and it looks like it's actually got a campaign and a story, rather than previous player modes or manager modes on previous games, which were pretty the exact same thing, really. They've made a campaign for it, and it actually looks quite interesting. It looks quite cool. It looks like it's got some drama in it, as much as you can get in football. But it looks like they're trying to do something new, and I'm actually quite intrigued to see how it turns out, because the campaign, it does look all right, and I'm going to do the thing that I try and do with all games, is forget what title it is, just watch the game trailer open-minded and see what it is. And if I'm being brutally honest, it does actually... it does look all right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't judge because, one, I've only played little bits of FIFA and I'm terrible at it, but I'm not a big football fan. And if you're a football fan, then I know while watching the conference, people were buzzing about this game, So we're taking the mick of it, but a lot of people are buzzing about this game, and it's because they love football. And people who can relate to football will love what I'm about to say, is apparently they've got Premier League managers in the game now. 3 new ones, or 4 was it? 3 or 4 new ones, 4 new ones. Now, that means nothing to me, 4. But people who know football
isn't it?
are probably quite excited.
They got Jose Mourinho, Arsene Wenger.
Then there's some other guys,
Some probably Italian dude.
There's literally, I'll tell you how they can improve FIFA. The way to improve FIFA is this new game mode called Dynamite, right? Basically, what they do is they put C4 inside the ball, and at the start, the spectators take a vote and vote a player on each team, and if the ball gets passed to them, it will explode. Right?
That doesn't sound bad.
No. And then you literally have to pass it to every single player in order to win. Right?
No.
And then you have to just try and find the bomb person last.
Well, Archie should be a developer, everyone.
I would play that game.
I would not. That would be shit.
I would play a couple of rounds.
In general. To improve football in general, all you need to do is script it. Because when it's scripted, it's more interesting. Otherwise, you're just going to have 90 minutes plus extra time of a bunch of men kicking a bag of air around a field. That's all it is.
It's weird.
Another way to make it more interesting is a sniper pitch side.
22 men that are obsessed with
I think that's what they're trying to avoid, Archie, now. They're trying to keep,
1980s football. Riots. Guns, Molotov.
He's so good if they were just suicide bombers in the stands, just ball foul, game's got going, postpone. That'd be great.
I think there'd be a lot of controversy and a lot of ethnic issues. Just and Rooney scores a goal. Oh,
I was like, look, there's whatever his name is, dribbling the ball into the goal pitch, and then suddenly. We have a bomb in the stand.
We are terrible people.
We're
absolutely
No, just one of the football
people.
players just rips their shirt off and it's just a suicide belt.
Okay, so going back to FIFA.
Ferguson is like,
just rolling it back to FIFA, everyone. So, of course, there is a campaign called The Journey. I mean, for football fans, pretty damn awesome. I know nothing about football, and if I ever do play it, I'll probably lose 8 to, 2, because that's what always happens to me in FIFA.
No, you won't score 2. It'll just be like...
It'll be -5 to fucking 8.
Sometime, James. I'll play FIFA
we should. Well, let's play FIFA, yeah. So, I mean, I'll give the game a go. I probably won't buy it, but I'll have a go, I'm open-minded, I'll have a laugh.
Liam will buy it.
Yeah, exactly, So, I'm open-minded, I'll have a laugh, and for you football fans, I hope you're excited. Now...
And it's ticked off the post-it note.
Okay. EA Originals. Now, I've obviously told you guys basically what it is, but I'll tell the viewers, if you don't know, EA Originals is a new thing that EA have come up with, and I think it's quite... I always support things like this. It's basically, they're funding small-time developers to make their games. What's good about it is EA aren't taking any of the funds from it. EA are giving all of the funds back into developers so they can continue making content. I think it's a way of getting more games out for EA, but also getting new developers out, because obviously at the moment we have a few main industries and a few main companies within the gaming industry, but eventually they're going to die out a little bit. New generations are coming and we need more developers. So I always back things like this, and what they'll be doing is they'll just be funding the developers and getting them exposure, which is, I think, is the main thing. Any opinions on their idea to do this?
I like it.
It's great that EA are exposing people.
Who they really are.
I'm all down for it. I like new games coming out that are something fresh, and I reckon doing this is as far as I'm like, as long as I'm following on the same path of what it is, because I'm not 100% sure on what it is. But if they're doing what I think they're doing, then go for it. I reckon it'll be good and positive for the gaming community.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, an example, they've released a game. It's their first game that's being partnered with the EA Originals. This small team of 20 developers have partnered with EA through EA Originals, and they have released their game at E3. It's called Fe, spelled F-E, made by a Swedish company. It looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. Not cool, cool.
I tried typing Fee into YouTube and it just came up with Fetty Wap. Whatever his name is.
Fetty Wap.
I want Fee, not
Brilliant.
Fetty Wap.
Well, it is. They described it on the conference as a personal narrative of our relationship with nature, which I think is pretty cool. Games like this aren't really done a lot, and I think if they do it well, it's really going to do very well. And what's even better is, as they develop it, it sounds even more out of this world. There's no speech in it, so most of it is done by music, and that's what I'm finding quite interesting about this game, because whenever I look at a game, I look at the audio. Like, audio is a big thing for me in games. Love soundtracks to games. If it's got a good soundtrack, then I'm with it all the way. So this game, all the animals, you basically wake up as a newborn cub on this island, on this planet, in a forest, wherever the game will start. And you have to go around and learn different languages of the animals, because if each creature on this world has a different language, but it's all portrayed with music. So I don't know, the fucking giraffes over there have classical music, and the crows over there have death metal. I don't know, but what?
I've just thought of the perfect soundtrack. What does the fuck say?
Oh god. Well, I'm gonna be banned off YouTube after this monstrosity.
Right, I'm sorry. I'm all for new games and stuff, but you have to learn to speak giraffe via piano. I'm sorry, but
No, you don't.
Wait,
you yourself don't have to learn. The character does, and that you do that by interacting with them, playing missions with them. You haven't heard a whole thing yet, but basically, the more you interact with other creatures and things like that, the more you'll have people to fight on your side against. I don't know what they called them.
Is it supposed to be metaphorically against people?
I don't know, to
because
be honest.
They're walking around
like
a trailer, and it looks like metaphorically it's supposed to be like against people, because the figures, they have 2 legs and 2 arms standing on 2 legs. They look like a view of the human race. So I'm thinking maybe it's to do with like nature against humans, which
could be a metaphor for deforestation and global warming and stuff like that. It could be basically getting gamers to go green.
It looks good though.
Interesting thing about it is the enemy spreads silence, and you're fighting against the silence. So we all love it, because we can't be silent for more than 5 minutes. So
yeah, exactly that.
So basically, what you got to do is you go around, you gather your army with the music, and then you fight back at silence, and that's basically really
have
basic. Have a bring a minor. So it should be. It's a very interesting.
Did you say it was a Swedish company?
It is a Swedish company.
Did you say it was a Swedish company making it?
Yes.
Okay, Fee in Swedish means fairy.
Oh, should be quite interesting.
So, where's the fairy in this game?
No fucking clue. Maybe you are the fairy, but
it does look like a really beautiful game.
It does look.
Like the artwork and
it looks
the kind
very,
of
very therapeutic
style.
Well.
It looks. It looks like quite a calm game.
Play like late at night when you're not tired, but you're not feeling really energetic. So you probably just sit there
relaxing,
playing a nice calm game with a glass.
I think they could work in some emotion as well. Like it's probably one of the games where they could make quite emotional as well, and I love it when a game drives emotion, because that's when games really show their strong spots. Games are here for the experience, the emotion. When a game makes you cry, that's like, although you're sad, it's the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But it's under the exploration and adventure category.
Last time I cried was when died.
Spoiler! What the fuck? You can't just say that. You gotta have right, James. You're gonna have to put on.
I'll bleep it out. It's all good. Oh, she's gone again.
It's all over the internet anyway. I doubt it matters if I say it once in a YouTube video.
Alright, so
you can buy doorstops that say Hodor on them.
Exactly.
The minute Game of Thrones and wax an EA symbol on it, that's when we'll talk about it in this podcast, alright?
What about Game of Thrones, right? There's this actual game. It's a not a fairy tale game. It's a telltale game.
That's not bad. Oh yeah,
Telltale series.
Yeah. But Fee. So
let's talk about that.
A game that hasn't actually been done before, or reminiscents have been done, but it's a brand new game, brand new idea, and I really support what EA are doing here.
100%. Looks amazing.
Okay, now back onto AAA games with Star Wars. Archie, this is your thing. Star Wars.
Is this Battlefront 2, yeah?
This is a mixture of loads of things.
Yeah, it's still Battlefront.
Yeah. Have you guys?
But they're bringing out loads of new DLCs.
Yeah.
And, like,
Is it called Battlefront 2?
No, it's
Thank God.
DLCs of the current game.
Right, Archie's lagging again.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of disappointed with the original game, because it was so hyped, and then you get it and there's like 4 maps, 2 different game modes, and barely any heroes, and you're there thinking, right, this is kind of upsetting because of how much we were promised from E3 and that. And then they brought out a couple of DLCs which were good, with the Battle of Jakku and stuff like that. But I think it will definitely be really, really good with all the new maps, the new guns, characters, worlds, and everything. Because the way I watched this video, and these guys, they were saying that when they were younger, they would play games with Star Wars figures where it was sometimes battles from the films, but it was also sometimes battles just from their imagination, which I genuinely think that would be brilliant, because then you've got stuff from the films which everyone knows, loves, and then you've got stuff that hasn't been seen on camera, so you can't say, oh, that's wrong there. It is quite literally just do what you want, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, did you guys... I know Archie saw the same video I saw that I got all my information from. Did you guys see the video that they showed at the conference? Like,
haven't seen anything about it.
It really showed passion from developers. Basically, what they've done is they have gathered every single company that's made all 3 of the Star Wars games, and they're basically going to town. Next year, there's going to be a new installment to the Battlefront that involves stuff from the movies, past movies, and the movies that have recently come out. So that should be quite good for Star Wars fans to see more of that integrated. They're going to get... Who's the black guy?
Mace Windu?
Finn.
I don't know. I don't bloody well watch Star Wars. I'm not. You guys are the Star Wars freaks. I don't watch Star Wars much.
Well, that's unacceptable, James. You need an education in Star Wars.
Yeah, you should.
They should be teaching us this rather than pie.
We only forced him to watch half Phantom Menace.
Yeah, but Phantom Menace is the first one, and it's really bad. So...
Not even the first one, and it is really bad.
Well, no, it's like the first one in the chronology.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's really not good.
That's someone kick Ben, please.
Not my fault.
Yeah, Ben, we get the really shitty pun, alright? So, for Star Wars fans, I should probably watch the movies. For Star Wars fans, it's going to be awesome. I know they're bringing in that guy, whatever his bloody name is. Finn. They're bringing in a few different characters.
The actor is John Boyega or something like that.
Best name ever. John.
And that particular installment for Battlefront is brought to you by Dice and Motive. I have been informed. So those 2 companies that were involved in making the the trilogy that we have currently. And yeah, Dice and Motive are working on that part of the game. Then later in 2018, a new addition to the game Oh, it's a new adventure game, action-adventure game.
Oh,
Yeah,
why
later
does it
on-
have to do this now? My watch is telling me to get moving. It's like, can you not, please?
just sit there doing
Just
this.
lob it to the other side
Yeah.
of the room. It's fine.
Just aerobics while we're doing the podcast. So yeah, later on in 2018...
Says, great job. True story. Look, it says not bad now.
Good. All she
Sorry,
said is daily
not
Not
exercise.
bad. Yours bad.
Yeah. Okay,
You're
so
probably gonna
later
put that in,
on...
aren't you? At the end,
yes.
just be
That will
At the end.
be in... Later
Just
on in
blooper
2000...
reel.
Oh god, Okay, later on in 2018...
Ah!
What the fuck did you do?
There was a fly on my wall and I just punched it.
Fucking good job.
going.
Okay,
Blooper reels. They're
was
great.
this like 7 times the charm? Later on in 2018, there's going to be a new action shuttle adventure game brought to you by Visceral Games. That's all they gave. Nobody clue. I assume it's going to be another add-on to Battlefront, or if it's going to be a new game. Don't
I
bloody
think
know.
it's a new game.
Is it a whole new game?
Yeah, I think so. It's like Star Wars Galactic Wars or something. Something like that.
I mean, that should be quite interesting. I don't know what they'll put in it after Battlefront, because they seem to be putting the full package into Battlefront. And there's now 3 games, so...
We never put only half
Which
the
they-
package.
Like, I don't know what more they could do, but I do know that it's a completely new game. So, it's a completely new story, sorry. So it's not to do with the movies, I don't think. I think some people will be showing up from the movies, but from what I can tell and from what it has said, it's going to be a completely new storyline, isn't it?
Yeah!
not sure.
I know, I'm kind of relying
I
on
think-
Archie here, he saw the same video.
Well, from what I saw, it's going to be the same game, but they're bringing in aspects of actual film battles. So there's going to probably be Ben having a disco in the corner. But I mean, from what I understood, there's going to be a couple of battles from the film, and then a couple of do-it-yourself kind of battles, and that's just going to be like new maps. I think what they should do is they should do like they did with Battlefield 2, the original ones. They should do like an instant action game version where you can literally choose like loads of different maps from loads of different eras. Like you could choose whether it was Galactic Wars, Clone Wars. You could choose to go Mustafar, Kashyyyk, Mos Eisley's, all these different maps from the Star Wars world, but you weren't necessarily there from the film. I think genuinely.
We still heard you even though you took your headset off.
Get the mute button.
I'm giving a speech, Ben.
Yeah, so it should be quite interesting. I mean, this is probably like they've leaked it this year, and I reckon that next year the E3 EA conference at E3 will be predominantly on that game. I reckon. Fuck's sake! I think
Not
we're
even
going to
trying,
hear-
at least I tried.
I don't care, Ben.
So I think we're
That's
going to
going
hear
on
a
kitchen.
lot more. This is
Yes!
the whole podcast is just who can do the best burn.
I
So
win.
I think next year at E3, they're going to really tell us more about whatever Visceral Games are working on in the Star Wars franchise. And I think it should be quite cool as long as they add some new stuff in and make it a standalone game and not a overpriced add-on to Battlefront, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time, what they could do is they could do lots of several add-ons to the current game, because I mean, honestly, there's not much on this at the moment. It's literally just 4 maps, 2 game modes. The most you can do is change the look of your person.
Woo!
That's literally it. But literally, the only way you change it is they're set characters. You can't even do customization. So
What EA need to do is they need to HD remaster Battlefront 2. That's what they need.
they do that, they'll make...
That could work.
No.
That was the best Battlefront game.
What EA need to do is Skate 4, please.
No, okay. What EA need to do is actually start finishing games.
Future James, can you edit in LG sounds, please? Thank you. Finally, there's two more things that they've planned for. Yeah, there's finally two more things that they've planned for Star Wars, and that's Respawn Entertainment is bringing a third-person Battlefront story mode.
Except the fact you've already got third person in it.
No, I get it, but
shut up, Archie.
like what they're doing is
they're
making their own game, but in completely third person. No idea how that's going to happen, but hey, we'll see more about that.
I love third-person games, so looking forward to it.
I like third person more than first.
Yeah, and I didn't see which company are bringing it to us, but I did see in the video I watched that they're bringing VR to Star Wars.
Guess what I have?
There wasn't a lot of information on it, but it was leaked. So VR Star Wars, that'd be awesome.
Oh, I want to talk about VR stuff now, but it's not part of this podcast.
It's okay, Matt. We'll do it another time.
We're talking about Star Trek VR.
Star Trek.
Battlefield 1.
Oh, that's in the Ubisoft one next week.
Quickly move on to Battlefield 1.
Okay, so that's Star Wars. I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, the movies, but the game, stellar, so I can't wait for more. Anyway, Battlefield 1. Now, we'll probably do another podcast on this later on, doing Battlefield 1 versus Infinite Warfare. Ben's gone.
Battlefield 1 wins already.
But I've seen both the gameplay trailers. We're not going to turn this into a COD versus Battlefield. We're just going to predominantly focus on Battlefield, okay? No one mentioned COD. I'm a terrible person for even mentioning COD already.
It is COD.
Shut up.
Might as well just kick James from the call because he did that.
I like COD when it's battered served with chips.
What even is this?
They're leaving because of my pun about fish and chips. Ben's actually left his room. Matt's just hung himself.
Okay.
I like Big Fry.
Battlefield bloody 1. Now, I have just spent the hours leading up to the start of this podcast. I was watching the hour-long live stream gameplay that they had, and it looked amazing. So they've said that no battle will be the same, which kind of every game says now, because we have that mechanic where, you know, you can have a different gameplay each time. So they say that, but of course you're still shooting people over and over again. People might find it repetitive, but they say that in the fact that, you know, it's not going to be so repetitive that you hate yourself after 2 matches. So, of course, that's in the game. Up to 64 players, which has been a thing since Next Gen came out. But, hey, 64 players, and the size of the map. Don't know if you guys have seen the gameplay. Matt's fallen asleep. Oh, no, he hasn't. He's just freeze-framed on a bit where Matt was...
Says the king.
Where Matt had his eyes shut. Yeah, so the size of the...
Looking at stuff.
Yeah, so the size of the map, don't know if you've seen the gameplay, but Jesus Christ, it expands over like 2 different villages. It is massive map, and that's the power of Next Gen. And with 64 players, I think they've balanced it so well that you're not in a cramped environment, so you're not seeing people every 2 seconds, but it's not so big that you're never seeing anyone, if that makes sense. And with all the new vehicles involved and things like that, from what I've seen of the gameplay so far, it's looking quite balanced.
From what I've seen, it's quite a lot of trench warfare. And as we know now, trench warfare doesn't really work that well.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally 2 trenches, you run at each other, you die, you go home.
Well, you'll be
an excellent point, Archie.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be happy to know that from the gameplay on that particular map they showed, there was no trenches whatsoever. It was all open ground.
Okay.
There is unpredictable weather, which is the game can start really sunny and then it will start raining halfway through the match, and that actually affect your gameplay. So say you're up in a plane and you're flying around, very clear skies, you can see who's on the ground and you can shoot people on the ground, you can see other planes in the air, but as soon as
raining,
it could randomly start raining, it can randomly get foggy, and then you'll have to change your gameplay style to that, and the graphics. Oh, when it started raining in the stream, like you could see the water sitting on the gun and it reflecting off of puddles, and it stopped raining in the game, and there was still, for the rest of the match, there was still puddles, and after the storm has passed, you've kind of got that look in the air. It's looking quite shiny and new. Does that make sense? They've just nailed the graphics for that perfectly, and of course there's breakable terrain. Oh my god, the map at the start of the game is pristine. Nothing destroyed. 10 minutes into the game, everything's leveled. You can shoot, if you shoot like a tank or a grenade, it'll create a crater in the ground, which I think is going to be awesome for nostalgia, and it'll get you involved in the game. But also, it's going to be good for tactics.
Nostalgia of World War One.
Yeah, good old days of World War One. But it's also going to be quite good for tactics, I think, because you're in an open field, you need some cover. Throw a grenade at the ground, you've got a trench that you can now take cover in to get a little bit more edge of the battlefield,
What I do, I tried researching this just a second ago. That's why you thought I was being asleep. But does anyone know if they're doing the thing where they have the massive constant war? Like, it's basically a massive server, and they're just doing the constant war on that.
I'm not sure.
I thought I heard rumors about that, and I just wondered if anyone knew anything about that.
I'm not sure, but the problem with that is if they do that, it's literally you'll log on after 2 weeks of that having been on, and there will literally be like 60 feet underground.
It will just be flat.
I mean, I haven't heard anything about that, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
You see, my problem with the kind of game like Battlefield where you can get these awesome vehicles like tanks and planes, if you never are in the so we're spawning at a point where one is available. If you want, I'm going to start again because I have no idea what I'm talking about. Basically, if you're unable to get, for some unknown reason, unable to get in cool vehicles like tanks and planes, then it's just going to suck for you. In games like, I'm going to pitch it up against COD. Games like COD, you're all on the same ground. It's just skill that separates you. But I feel that if you, for some reason, can't seem to get in any cool vehicles, it's just going to limit your game experience. And I think it's I'm excited to see what they do with that, for everyone gets a fair chance of getting in a tank or a plane and giving it a go. Otherwise, there are going to be some really skilled people who can just fly around the cool vehicles and drive around and do awesome in some badass tanks, and then the noobs are just left on the ground, stuck running for their lives from the tanks. So I'm wondering what they're going to do to that, because it's probably going to suck if they do nothing about that.
From what I've seen, it's quite balanced in the way that you can now destroy tanks. I'm pretty sure there are weapons that are really effective at destroying tanks, and I think there's even anti-air in there. So,
but then again, that kind of goes back to the Titanfall thing of, will it then be too overpowered for the people on foot if they can just pop up, shoot rocket at a tank, and it's gone?
Yeah, I mean,
they'll need to do a lot of testing with the beta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for accessibility of vehicles, I do know there's for example, there's 3 different kinds of tanks. There's a light tank, which is 1-person tank, go around, fuck shit up on your own. There's a medium tank, which is 4-seater, 3-seater, I think, and then there's a heavy tank, which is full-on 5-seater. Your whole squad can go at it. So it's a very team-based game, I think, in a sense, where if you've got a squad, you can get into these vehicles and use them tactically. So my internet failed, and now there's just 2 of us, because internet failed. Tried to get it back for a good 5-6 minutes. Other 2 had to go, but anyway, we've only got 10 minutes left, so we'll just push through to the end.
Best one's still here.
Oh yes, best till last. So what was I saying? Something about tanks and Battlefield. I'm just going to move on to the next thing I was going to say. The airship. Basically, the airship mechanic is the team that is losing gets an airship, and this airship is a fucking Goliath of a thing. Player controls it. Players can go in it and shoot from above, and it's very, very slow moving. And very, very big, so it's an easy target to hit by the other team, and it's not easy to dodge things. However, it fucks shit up if you use it correctly. If you use it to its full capacity, everyone gets mangled, and it can change the balance of war. It can change the leaderboard from victory to fail, from fail to victory.
That's the point of it.
Yeah, exactly. So it can do a lot of damage, but at the same time it can
bounce it off.
But at the same point, it can be very disadvantaging because obviously it's an easy target to hit, and oh my god, when it goes down, there's no scripted like event as to where it goes down. Once it's down, it goes down exactly where it like falls, and it's bloody amazing. Like the whole everyone in the map just stops to watch it because it combusts into flames and then falls to the ground. Everything that it flattens gets destroyed. Everyone who it flattens gets killed. And then it's just left in a big pile of ash. And the metal framework of it is just left there. So that, again, changes the field of play. Because that could have been a really open field. And now it's covered in rubble that you then have to fight around. So it's really good how it changes the map, the dynamics of the map throughout the game.
Yeah.
And, as it goes down, it's just a sight to see, That's literally all I wanted to say about Battlefield, but the internet had to literally go down. There's an open beta later this summer, so go grab that while it's still available. There's a lot of focus on melee combat now. Yeah, I'll be playing that. There's a lot of focus on melee combat, which is new and different to Battlefield or just a first-person shooter in general. So that should be quite interesting to see how they balance that out. And fun little fact: the respawn menu, normally how it's 2D. This time it's 3D, so you can actually see which buildings have been leveled, which ones are not. You can see planes flying around the map. So you could basically just have someone die and then just direct you around the map because the respawn menu acts as like a planning zone, if that makes sense, if you want to use it like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. But that's all I want to say on Battlefield 1. We'll cover it again when everyone's back here, and we can cover COD and Battlefield. Internet's still shitty, but hey, it's pushing through for the last 5 minutes. So thank you very much for joining me, Ben. And thank you very much, Matt and Ben, wherever, not Matt and Ben, Matt and Archie, wherever they may be right now, for joining. Not the smoothest of first, Archie. GG. If you have any opinions on anything that's said in this podcast, put in the comments down below. We'd love to hear your discussion, and I'm sure all four of us will be in the comments. If anyone has any particular questions, we'll all be there discussing things with you guys. We'd love to hear your opinions on things, and any news that we missed out, be sure to let us know as well. What have I missed? I don't think I've missed anything, so thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, share and subscribe. It helps me out a bunch. Anything, any improvements, anything you can give to make podcasts better, because I have no bloody clue what I'm doing. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, share and subscribe. It helps me out a bunch. And until next time, I shall say, oh good! Bye! I swear to do, guys.